you too to another edition of Rebuke All Devils Radio, 107.7, home of the truth. Man, do me a big favor, man, and hit that like button, man, and hit that subscribe button. If it's your first time being here, joining us, and don't forget to click on that bell so that you receive all notifications every time I post some breaking news. Now, I want y'all to take a look at this house right here, right? Because this is the house that 18-year-old devil that murdered 10 people up in Buffalo, New York. This is his parents' house. This is the house he lived in. Now, when you take a good look at this house, this house looks very, very nice. It's a very nice house. The house looks very spacious. The yard looks very well manicured and taken care of. It looked like his parents were very successful people. It looked like they were doing well. And it looks like this young man had a good life. It don't look like he was living bad or, don't look like he was wanting for anything. Now, to show you just how sick these people are, these dumb racists, he gave up all of that to now be living in a jail cell and possibly facing the death penalty or life in prison. He gave up living in this nice home, and his parents, which I don't know his parents, I never talked to him, but I'm pretty sure if they can afford something like that for themselves, when it was time for him to get a home, I'm more than positive they would have helped him get him a nice home as well. And just to show you how hate can ruin your life, ruin your dreams, ruin your victims' lives, right? He gave up living like this to be in a cage where he belongs, where he deserves to be because he's an animal. And you know what? He possibly opened his family up to litigation and lawsuits. They might not own that home too much longer. All because of the wicked and senseless and terrible act that this pink supremacist did. And so he appeared in court today, right? And so I want y'all to let's hear what happened in court, all right? Can't play the video. I don't want to get the copyright, but let's check the sound out. So check this out. My bad.
The accused Buffalo grocery store shooter is in court this morning. He pleaded not guilty to the murder charge against him in his last appearance. So Drika Duncan is following the latest for us. She's here to give us an update on the case. Drika, you are in Buffalo. Good morning. All right, so what did we learn in court about this guy or about the crime?
A lot of this is really procedural at this point, Anne-Marie, but we did see the accused gunman walk in at about 9:40 this morning. The entire proceeding literally took about 6 minutes, if that. The judge walked in at 9:38. The proceedings were over at 9:45. Here's what we know right now. They have not yet seen the indictment. The defense hasn't, but there is a report that could go out Thursday or Friday to give more details about a grand jury indictment, which basically eliminated, according to one attorney I spoke to, the need for a felony hearing today. He told me that he would then expect possibly a motion date for his client, Payton Gendron, to be arraigned on that indictment. Again, though, they know that the grand jury has voted to indict, but they say that they have not seen that information in terms of what those charges consist of. We know that the accused shooter, again, pleaded not guilty to first-degree murder. So as for what exactly is next, it's still a little unclear, but the attorneys on both sides really aren't speaking. The district attorney released a statement basically just confirming that a grand jury had already received or voted rather to indict. They didn't give any specifics on that. They mentioned in their press release that they're not offering any more comment. And you have reporters that are standing outside the courthouse just waiting to see if perhaps maybe we might hear from someone. I saw the sheriff earlier walk across the street to the Erie County Holding Center where the accused, Payton Gendron, is being held. He remains held without bail. So that's the very latest. But in terms of just giving you a picture, I'm not sure if you have any video that's coming in from the courtroom just yet. But he walked in very slowly. There were about 5 or 6 people accompanying him. He has 3 attorneys. We were told to not get video of the victim's family that apparently were in the courtroom. I didn't recognize anyone where I was sitting. I couldn't really see everything that was happening to the right of me. But I can tell you that as Payton Gendron was leaving, someone yelled out, "You're a coward." But that was it. Again, it was a very short amount of time. It was the first time that we've seen him since he pleaded not guilty to first-degree murder.
Jerika, what about his family? Do we know if his family was present?
We asked his attorneys, are there family members here on his behalf? And they would not answer any comment. They wouldn't give any statement on that. And so they wouldn't confirm it. They wouldn't deny it. But there was some speculation that perhaps he had family in the courtroom. There really were not a lot of people, though, Anne-Marie. And in fact, they moved us to the basement because a lot of these courtrooms are not that big. So to sort of accommodate the media presence that were there, there were probably 20 of us that were in what is usually the jury box. And then maybe 20 to 25 people that were part of the hearing. And again, I couldn't see everyone, but again, we do know, just based on the officers telling us to not film victims' families that were there, but I imagine there just couldn't have been very many, because we know that there were 10 people murdered, and there weren't a lot of people in that courtroom.
You also covered, Jerika, a visit by the members of the Buffalo Bills football team yesterday. They met with community members. They handed out groceries. What did they say to you? How's the community doing? I loathe to talk about strength and resiliency and coming together in the wake of such horror, because oftentimes people, like, that's all you can do, but it's so frustrating for people to feel as if their very existence is under threat, because these instances have happened so many times. So what did the Bills say?
So you had the Bills there, the Sabres, the Bandits, which is the lacrosse team, the national lacrosse team here. They all were wearing shirts that said "Choose Love." Choose love. So I think they were there to comfort this community and let them know, we know that you support us. You stick through us through thick and thin. That's the least we can do, is come down here for such a horrible event, to just let you all know that, you know, you're in my thoughts and prayers. They laid flowers. They took pictures with people. You know, it was a moment of excitement. It's been such a dark week, and to see players that normally most people wouldn't get a chance to have any one-on-one time with was exciting. But I think from the people that I spoke to who live in that community, just like when the president came, they know it's not going to bring their relatives back or change anything, but it's nice to feel comforted and supported at this time.
All right, Jerika Duncan for us in Buffalo, where you have been pretty much all week. Jerika, thank you very much for your reporting. We so appreciate it.
Thank you.
And we appreciate
the latest in the racist supermarket shooting in Buffalo. The 18-year-old suspect.
We appreciate that reporting, Jerika, as well. Now, so, you know, another part of this that I also find strange, man, is how, you know, they tell you the president came down. They tell you that the Buffalo Bills and some other organizations were there. I wasn't there, so I don't know this, but I haven't heard anything about it. Where's the money at for those victims? Where's the money at that the president promised for those victims? I'm not saying he promised anything, but that's the point that I'm making. To my knowledge, he hasn't promised them victims any kind of financial help from the government. And the teams that went down there, where's their financial help for the community? Because remember, and yes, I'm calling the teams out, because every time our people and all people attend your games, we pay money to come see you. We buy your shirts, we buy your memorabilia, we buy snacks, we buy hot dogs, we do all of that. And it's a lot of our money that funds your salaries. Is the reason why they are able to pay y'all those multi-million-dollar contracts. And it's no cheap shots at none of the gifted athletes, or none of the cool coaches that, you know, pick the athletes, the organizations that give people opportunities. We appreciate all of that. But these people need a financial opportunity, and they need to tear that grocery store down and make it a memorial. And y'all need to build a couple or a few grocery stores in that area and give that community a choice. That's what needs to be done. You know, they need financial help. You know, and if our government can afford to give $40 billion to Ukraine, y'all can afford to give this community some money, and y'all can afford to kick that dough for reparations, because you got centuries of free work out of our ancestors. And it's only right and it's only fair that you compensate their descendants. Because if you don't, remember, Europeans, Americans, and all countries that participated in the transatlantic slave trade, y'all didn't create the earth. Y'all didn't create the water. You didn't create the clouds, the sun, or the moon. You didn't even create yourself. So that means that there's an intelligent being that's more intelligent than all of us that created all of this. And he know the history of your ancestors, and he see what you people are still doing to this very, very day, like what happened up in Buffalo. So either you do right before the Most High's judgment come upon you, or you don't do right before the Most High's judgment come upon you. Because either way, his judgment is going to come upon you for the wickedness that you have done. With that being said, I say shalom and drop your comments down below.